This is the tale of Buzz Rockfist, a slave of the Holy Nation, who after years of backbreaking labor, building senseless statues, finally decides it's time to escape. Little do Buzz and his wife Lyra know that their journey to freedom will set in motion a chain of events that will test their limits and alter the fate of many. Their ultimate goal is to build a new world, a utopia, amid the harsh nothingness of Kenshi. But their ambitions are still a distant dream. For now, they're just two people with no skills, no squad, no money, and no gear, struggling to survive in a brutal and unforgiving land. With this plan formulated, it's time to act on the first day of their journey. Their first attempt to escape inevitably fails. The guards beat them senseless, throwing them into small cages like animals. They tend to their wounds just enough to keep them from dying. Now, they come up with another idea to try and free as many people as possible at night and attempt a mass escape from this prison. They fail multiple times. Buzz was thinking to himself, they can break my body, but they will never break my spirit. Every strike, every insult, it only fuels the fire within me. I will not die a slave. The air hangs heavy with the stench of sweat and despair. Cries of anguish echo of the cold stone walls, a constant reminder of their grim reality. Overworked people are tortured in the name of constructing a senseless statue for a corrupt regime. 4 days pass like an eternity, with Buzz and Lyra spending most of their time unconscious. Yet, they're getting tougher, more skillful, and their desire to be free is as strong as ever. But being free is just the first step. After another daring attempt, Lyra manages, for the first time, to slip beyond the gates of rebirth. However, the taste of freedom is fleeting, and the shadows of their captors loom larger than ever. Finally, they catch up to her, leave her bleeding on the ground while capturing Buzz, taking him away. It seems the guards don't believe Lyra will survive and just leave her there, helpless in the wilderness. But she does. She awakens alone, gravely injured in one of the darkest times of her life. With Buzz nowhere to be seen, she goes down the road from rebirth, praying she won't be spotted by Holy Nation patrols, paladins, or anyone else. Thinking, am I the only one left? Buzz, where are you? While slowly walking not far from rebirth. When the fear starts to overwhelm, she sees a lonely shack. She hopes it's not a guard shack, but looking at her injuries and knowing her slave clothes would betray her instantly, she decides to take the risk and go inside. What she finds inside are barrels of food, clothes, first aid supplies, and beds left by someone who sympathized with the slaves. This is a godsend, and Lyra will forever be grateful. It shows that even in this godforsaken world, there is still light. She spends her time there, not daring to leave, just hoping that Buzz is alive and will soon succeed in joining her. While Buzz is preparing yet another daring attempt to escape the slavers, with little candle of hope in heart that he will find Lyra alive and well. Day 6 was unsuccessful. He freed a lot of prisoners to attempt another mass escape. But by the time he has finished freeing other prisoners, it was already dawn and guards were waking up. Yet another fail. On the 7th day, Buzz launches another attempt, frees some prisoners from their cages, now with some time to spare. And finally, He and some other guys escape. Just 2 days after Lyra, guided by pure instinct and hope, Lyra has to be out here somewhere, with this thought being the only thing to keep him going. Finally, he reaches the small shack and Buzz reunites with Lyra. What a moment it is for them. Finally escaping from that prison. The constant beatings are over. This feels like the greatest achievement of their lives. While in the lone shack, they take some clothes and weapons. They have also found a letter to Mo, where the owner explains how she wanted to escape from the repressive state of the Holy Nation. Her help won't be forgotten. They rest here to recover from malnourishment and plan their next steps. Knowing they can't stay in Holy Nation territory for long, they've decided to move to Shack Kingdom. The Shack don't like humans that much, but it's far better than being recognized and sent back. So that's the plan. On day 8 in the morning, they set out according to their plan to reach the relative safety of the Shack Kingdom. They hope to avoid being seen by anyone on their way through dangerous lands. They see a ruined Holy Nation outpost where they witness a battle between Fogmen and the Paladins of the Holy Nation. Thankfully, they are not seen by anyone and continue on to their dreams. On day 9, they make it to the hub, which is in the border zone and out of the Holy Nation's direct influence. They can finally breathe a sigh of relief. While there, they sell some of the equipment and surplus of food from the shack to make some money and hopefully buy some proper clothes when they reach Squin. There was a scary encounter with Holy Nation outlaws, but they managed to avoid conflict on their terms and reach the city where guards can help them. Some training won't hurt. And it's a win. After some looting, finally they make it to Squin, a safe haven for Buzz and Lyra. With the money they've gathered, they buy a head cover and a backpack to start making an honest living, mining copper by the city. They could have started with stealing, but that was just not the way they envisioned starting their clan. Honest money for honest work. Working tirelessly at a nearby copper deposit, they had a first encounter with dust bandits. The odds were not in their favor. They started running towards the city for protection. It worked. The guards ran up to help them out. Eventually, they win, but are badly injured, looting some stuff from defeated bandits and bandaging their wounds. They power through and continue to work for the remainder of day 9 and most of the day 10. On day 11, after selling some looted stuff, they accomplish their first big step. They buy a house in Squin. Well, the ruin of one. The house is badly damaged and needs extensive restoration, but it's a momentous step toward the Utopia. However, this day is darkened by Buzz losing a one-on-one fight to a hungry bandit. Most of the fight he was training his blocking abilities, so he had this coming to him. But losing to a hungry bandit shows how much training and strengthening Buzz needs. Days 12 and 13 are spent mining non-stop to keep earning money for home restoration and food. Day 14 is marked by finishing the restoration and a start of research bench construction, crucial for the future base and for the Utopians to be able to stand on their own. And of course, more mining. On day 15, Buzz goes to the hub, a neutral city they are familiar with, to find the first recruits for their cause. Buzz recruits 2 turret gunners, Stone and Logan, bolstering their defenses, spending most of their money made from mining copper. The next day comes quickly, and before the morning, Buzz finishes the construction of the research bench, and Lyra is finally able to start the research. She will be the head of research from now on. From day 16 to 20, Stone and Logan now spend time mining for Utopians. While new teammates are out working, Buzz and Lyra go after the Dust Bandit camp nearby to ensure safety. Removing this filth would be beneficial to everyone, while also being a source of skills in fighting and toughness. And making some cats selling the bandits' weapons and equipment would be helpful to further their cause. Fighting is tough. Buzz and Lyra get overpowered all of the time, and then get back to their base to heal up and go again. They have learned their lesson in Rebirth and won't back down again. Those days were non-stop punishment. Fight, get beaten, recover, get back to fighting again. Day 21 is marked by victory. Buzz and Lyra recover at the place where the bandits' camp once was. It's a great feeling of triumph, the first of many to come. But there is no time to celebrate. Sorry guys, lost 2 days, didn't hit record. Here's what happened. Early the next day, they find a suitable location for their first base in the wilderness. With good resources of iron and copper to get things going, Lyra heads back to Squin to research some technology for their future base, and Buzz goes to the Holy Nation territory to find more people willing to join their cause. He finds 2 lost souls in a bar, Bard and Ice, who join them. They are growing stronger each day. From days 23 to 24, they spend time mining, researching, and traveling. Buzz and Lyra look for people willing to join them. Fight off hungry bandits, build a level 2 research bench, while team sells copper and iron. It's a grueling effort in the wide open world of Kenshi. The strangest thing happened to Ice. When she was dropping off some copper they mined, and on the way back, the city guard attacked her. When Lyra was going out just moments after, he beat her too. Buzz runs to them to heal them as fast as possible. But right after he's done healing, that mad guard goes after him. Buzz even got a prison sentence from them. And Ice has 2,000 cats bounty on her head. Seems like Shack Kingdom is not that safe for our group, and we need to really start looking to go independent. Luckily, the prison sentence was short. The rest of the day was spent mining and recovering. Day 26 begins with Buzz lying on the ground, defeated by dust bandits. Hatred starts to grow. Those ruthless bandits are impeding their progress, but Buzz knows that there will come a day when they will pay for all the misery they've caused. After finally coming back to his senses, Buzz finds a location that would be great for their outpost. It is located in the border zone, near a vast swamp. As an act of groundbreaking, he marks the place for the stone mine, which will be essential for constructing the base and its walls. But the overall picture is still bleak. They are constantly assaulted by any and all factions. Progress is grinding and hard. Buzz works on the first building materials for their base. On day 27, Bard and Lyra join Buzz to speed up things at the base location. They lay the foundations of the main building. Shacks have arrested eyes. The reason is still uncertain. Unfortunately, 2,000 cats is a lot for the Utopians to pay for her freedom, and she will have to spend a couple of days locked up. The next days are spent in endless, tireless work. The team tries to make more money, build the base as fast as possible, and upgrade their technology to survive out in the wild, outside the protective walls of Squin. Ice is freed on day 29, and on the morning of day 31, they are raided by the hungry bandits. They overpower the Utopians by a long shot. The only thing they can hope for is that the bandits will leave. There is absolutely no chance of winning this fight yet. Eventually, the bandits leave, and they continue to build walls, only to be attacked again on day 33 by those wretched dust bandits. After being beaten down, they are left with nothing in this unfinished base. After some recovery, the team continues to build the walls and get the base ready. They press on with their efforts, beaten but not broken. On day 35, the unspeakable happens. Prayer Day comes to their base. The Utopians are now being called for Prayer Day in the border zone. They thought they were free and out of the Holy Nation's influence, but it seems their past is catching up to them. Bowing to those tyrants feels like swallowing poison. Buzz said to himself, "Every fiber of my being screams to fight back, to show them we're not theirs to command." But he glanced at his companions, beaten and vulnerable. "I can't risk their lives, not now. With patience, our time will come." Buzz makes the hard decision to, at least for now, comply with Holy Nation's demands. Complying with their enemy and enslaver is not an easy thing to do. But if he doesn't want their story to end there is no other choice. This only hardens his still strong will. This coincides with them having a massive food shortage. The Utopians are still not ready to grow anything at their base. Fortunately, they have some items to sell. They only hope that it will be enough to get them through these hard times. In any case, with that somewhat under control, day 37 marks the completion of the wall building. The Utopians can finally enjoy a little peace of mind that comes with it. They have started to grow cacti, not the best food, but the best thing they can make in the arid region. The swamps are near, but with blood spiders, it's too dangerous for their people to go there now. Days go on slowly but surely, and the base starts to grow stronger and more independent. On day 40, their last bits of currency are gone. They don't have any food left, and river raptors barge into their base to eat all the food they were growing for themselves. The raptors beat them to a pulp. What a misery. On day 41, dust bandits come by, yet again. And just after the raid by the raptors, they don't have enough strength to beat them. But in this moment of darkness for their base, seemingly out of nowhere, nomad traders come and beat those filthy bandits, helping Utopians to hold on to their base. Great people, Buzz, Lyra, and every one of the Utopians are eternally grateful. Day 42 is spent fighting off the hungry bandits. And day 43 is both a milestone and yet another challenge. Bard becomes the head smith of the Utopians. This grants them the opportunity not only to arm themselves with better equipment, but to sell it off in the cities for cats, thus generating more income to help them get out of malnourishment and misery, while also being able to purchase better armor, first aid supplies, and other things they cannot produce by themselves at this point. But as it always in this brutal world, things don't go as well as hoped. Days 44 to 49 are spent micromanaging the food they have, while also trying to produce enough metal plates so that the weapon production doesn't stop, even for a little while. Getting crops going and food production underway
is one of the utmost priorities right now.
This would help them finally be free and truly independent of the cities, so they don't have to risk going out just to get by and survive in this harsh nothingness. Lyra, Buzz, and a few others decide to sell weapons they've crafted and find an ancient library somewhere in Hiver territory to try and get some ancient books to further their research and improve production and base building. Soon after entering Vane, those enormous, scary creatures named Big Things start chasing them. They know for sure that they aren't ready to fight them, but luck is on their side and Hive Village is nearby. The drones help them defeat the beasts. It seems like it's not their first encounter. On the flip side, they gather the hides of the Big Things and sell them for profit in the village, which is very welcome. They spend day 52 navigating through the treacherous terrain of Vane, fighting off Big Things and sneaking their way through. On day 53, they finally reach the lab. They find some engineering research. While it's not the ancient books they desperately need, they will find a way to make use of it. They also find some really expensive prosthetics, which will allow them to employ more people and hire some mercenaries for their next endeavors. Day 54 is spent selling those prosthetic legs, making a huge profit unlike anything the Utopians have ever seen. This is a moment of realization that the task of freeing people and eventually defeating the Holy Nation is at least plausible. Day 55. With the end of the successful expedition, the exploration team starts the day on their way to Squin to try and find some recruits and buy things that the base desperately needs. Buzz uses the cash generated to hire some bodyguards and heads to the treacherous swamp, while Lyra, taking all the things needed, heads straight to the base to work on research. Buzz finally reaches the main city of the swamps, named Shark. Here he sees things that are quite unusual for him, substances being sold openly, constant raids from the Red Sabers on the city, and an almost daily loss of life is usual for this loveless place. Here he finds Mew and Jumper, who want to join them, a very welcome addition to the Utopians. While they don't have many useful skills, it's just a matter of experience, and Buzz puts a great deal of hope in them. Still in the city, Buzz meets Hammett, a weathered veteran of the brutal world of Kenshi. A man whose destiny Buzz has almost shared. His wife was taken as a slave and died before he could rescue her. This is a grim reminder of why Buzz is going through all of this, to spare people from the misery that Hammett has endured. Hammett asks if Buzz shares the sentiment against the slavers. If this guy really fights for freedom, for justice, the same things I've longed for since she was taken from me. Memories flashing in his head. Perhaps with them I can find peace, or at least make the slavers pay for what they've done. And decides to join the Utopians on their quest. Buzz is sure that with someone as strong as Hammett, they will be stronger than ever and can avenge his fallen wife. Day 59. The team sets out to explore the swamps before heading back to base. Not far from Shark, they find the lab and take what's there. There aren't many ancient books, but those that they have are a good addition anyway. They head back home. Thankfully, it's not that far away. On the way home, they encounter some dust bandits camped by the road, which lays on the route Utopians use to get to Squin. So the team decides to take them out for good and call in reinforcements from the base too. After a successful battle, team goes back home. In the early morning of day 60, another dust bandit party takes over their base. They need to get it back as soon as possible. Now the odds are not in their favor. Most of them are beaten and injured. That's going to be a hard battle. But on that gruesome day, their new recruit, Jumper, doesn't make it. The world seemed to stop as Jumper lied there, completely lifeless. Lyra's heart sank, with dread in her mind. No, what have I done? That bolt was meant for the enemy, not her. Deep guilt started to build inside her soul. She continued to fight back the opponents, almost automatically, slashing an enemy with rage-fueled anger. When everything passes and battle is finally won, there is no celebrating in the camp, only grieving. This event deeply affects the team, with guilt weighing heavily on Lyra. While no one blames her, in the heat of battle many things can happen. This occurrence seals the fate of the Dust Bandits in the eyes of Buzz and every Utopian. They will find the head of those filthy Dust Bandits and make him answer for what they've done. It's just a matter of time. They retake their home once again, and with this newfound resolve, the team starts working even harder to get themselves ready for revenge in the name of Jumper. The next 6 days are filled with relentless work, with some serious milestones met. They finally have enough food and can produce more than enough weapons to use and sell. On day 67, Hammett, Lyra, and Buzz decide to go on another adventure to get more ancient books. The books should be in an ancient library in the Holy Nation territory. The hard part is avoiding all patrols of the paladins, because the mercenaries hired have some check with them, which would mean a fight with the Holy Nation. Their expedition team comes close to rebirth. It stirs some memories of how not that long ago they were there and that so many souls are still there. But it's not the time and place. so they continue on their way to reach the floodlands, where the library should be. They start a fight with some hideous robot spider. It is so strong that it cuts off Hammond's leg. Now, with one of the members of their team unable to go further, they have to turn back. It seems like the floodlands are way too dangerous and are not a place where they stand a chance just yet. After healing up a bit, they head back towards their base. On the way home, Buzz wishes that he hadn't sold one left leg prosthetic to the hivers. But maybe, just maybe, they still haven't sold it off, so that's the new plan. Go back and try to buy back the prosthetic for Hammond. The team reaches the base and decides to start growing hemp to make fabrics and start the production of even higher quality weapons. The encounter with the robot spider shows them that they're not well equipped to face the enemies out there. Hammond will have to wait a little longer. Just before the expedition team leaves the base to get some hemp, they're attacked by hungry bandits. One can only hope that it's not a bad omen. Buzz definitely said it better than I can. That's exactly what they are. They defeat them, but it takes some time to recover again. In Squin, the team sells off weapons made by Bard and finds some hemp for sale too, so now they can research hemp farming and start on their way back home. Day 72. It's an uneventful day. The team comes back and starts working on hemp production. Weapons are made in large quantities and great quality by Bard, who is already a good weaponsmith. They also make some cats selling off the weapons, so buying a leg for Hammond shouldn't be an issue. While the main party is out buying clothes, selling weapons, recruiting and looking for more hemp to start the production, ninjas come by and give everyone at the base a real beating. Then leave with all their food. Success, they get Zim, Swift, Ino, and Takao to join them in their ventures. Now with more hands, the production of weapons and fabric should be easy. They still don't have hemp to start growing it. The hemp they got was only enough to research it. They should find it in the swamps. But for now, they need to get back to the base and choose who will be on the explorer team and who will stay at the base. But regardless where newbies will end up, with time they will get stronger and protecting the base will be easier. On this day, while not too far from home, they are attacked by dust bandits. The battle is hard, recruits are too unexperienced, weak and badly equipped. But Lyra saves the day using her crossbow and keeping distance. After successfully dealing with them, she goes to treat the wounds of her team. Then, out of nowhere, slave mongers appear. At first, they help us bandage the wounded, but their archenemy has more plans than that. They want to take all of them for sale. This is not going to happen. Buzz and Lyra would rather give their lives than let that happen. Seriously injured, Buzz makes a stand, while Lyra starts shooting them. After yet another hard battle, Day 76 brings them victory. They defeat those slave mongers and save their recruits. It's a good day to be alive. Team also took some of the better pieces of armor slave mongers had and start to make their way back to base. After a quick recovery and regrouping, 5 explorers, Buzz, Lyra, Swift, Zim, and Moo, set out to get to the swamps to finally buy some hemp for fabric production. On the morning of Day 77, expedition team gets to a village, finds some hemp, and sells off some weapons. But the swamp doesn't treat them well. Almost everyone is beaten up by red sabers. Buzz and Lyra show an incredible level of toughness, constantly standing up and continuing to fight. Unfortunately, I have lost some more footage, but you can look at this cozy cat while I tell you exactly what happened. But at least everyone is alive. It's finally time to really get the hemp production going. The only issue is prayer day. There is a high probability that hemp production is outlawed by the Holy Nation. But it's something they have to grow. And if the Holy Nation decides to attack, so be it. But the swamp isn't nearly done with them. They are constantly getting beaten up. They need to hurry and get Hammett a prosthetic leg. On the morning of Day 80, they've lost another soul. Khaled is taken from them. He was quite new, but still had done a lot to further their cause. He will never be forgotten. On Day 81, they finally find and buy back the prosthetic leg for Hammett. The shopkeeper sells it to them for far more than they sold it for. By the end of the Day 82, they finally get back to the base, and Hammett gets his prosthetic leg. What a relief and a victory for the whole team. Finally, able to stand up, Hammett flexes his new prosthetic. Hammett felt a mix of gratitude and determination. They didn't have to go to such lengths for me. They found the best one I have ever seen. He thought to himself. It seems that I made the right choice joining these people. Finally, I have a place that I can call home, and I will make sure that we will succeed in our cause. With Hammett having his ability to walk back, they get some rest and set out to Vane once more, to loot an ancient library. The next day, after constantly being beaten by big things, time after time, thoughts start crawling into Buzz's head. Are they too weak for Vane? Are the borderlands and some swamps, if they're lucky, all they can handle? I can't risk all of my people here in this wretched land, Buzz thought. I can't always rely on the mercenaries to do my bidding, but we are not ready to venture here yet. And the dust bandits are now really annoying. They have taken the lives of their people. If they can't fight in Wayne yet, then they will go and find whoever is leading those bastards and give them a taste of their own medicine. Day 85 is marked by their will to get back home and start clearing out the dust bandit camps all around them. Let the revenge begin. Still, ancient books are needed, and Buzz remembers seeing some ruins down from the laboratory near Rebirth, in the river. It should be safer there, because it's in Holy Nation territory. At least, that's how it would seem. The next day is spent traveling there. Still traveling, they hire Batai and give him some water jugs to run around with and train strength in Holy Nation territory. They need to get everyone in the team as strong as possible, as soon as possible. On day 89, they finally reach the ruins in the river. Surprisingly, they find a guy who calls himself the Armor King. He has some really good armor pieces, extremely expensive, but they have some money and need to get some good protection for their main forces. After all said and done, they set out to get back home. Almost 2 days is spent traveling. The team finally gets home on day 91 and start the final stages of preparation to go and find bandit camps and take out their leader once and for all. Every single one of the Utopians is getting ready to roll out together. For the first time, the anticipation keeps rising. And finally, all of the Utopians are moving together at full strength for Khaled and Juniper. On day 92, they find Dust Bandits. And well, they are going to pay. Fight is much easier now that they have 15 people on their team. Still, some get injured on day 93. They take turns to sleep and recover. Day 94 is spent in constant fighting with bandits. Hungry ones too. Now they see how much of a safe space their base has become. They have eaten all of their food and need to be quick to get vengeance for their fallen brother and sister. Finally, they find a mysterious tower high on a hill overlooking a ravine. The forces will rest, and in the morning they will strike. Now, after so much waiting and fighting their way through, Utopians are eager to get their revenge. With the sun rising over the horizon, it's time. The Utopians are racing towards the well-defended tower and the fighting commences. It is the main base of those roaches, the Dust Bandits, and the Dust King is here too. Utopians are overwhelming them. Buzz is fighting the king. What a battle! After a day or two, they finally beat and take out the Dust King as well as his close companions. Utopians likely didn't eliminate all the Dust Bandits, but have dealt them a heavy blow. That's for sure. Some of the Utopians go to Squin to get the reward for his head, while others proceed to go back to the base and recover. The mission is undoubtedly a success. After all said and done, one thing becomes painfully obvious. The task to free slaves and crush the Holy Nation is too ambitious. At least for now. So Leroy and Buzz decide to do something different. They stock their bags full of food and weapons made by Barb and set off on a journey to the place where the idea of the Utopians was first born. The small shack with supplies they took when they escaped from slavery. When Buzz and Lyra finally get to the destination, the feeling is bittersweet. They didn't accomplish their goal of defeating the Holy Nation. Still, at least they are not alone anymore and have a place to call home. After spending some time reflecting on their journey, they fill it up to the brim as a way to help other slaves who might attempt to escape from rebirth. With that done, they head back home. Standing on the rooftop on the evening of day 100, with so many defeats and goals that were not accomplished, they have managed to build a well-secured haven in the wilderness of Kenshi, while giving 13 other souls a chance to survive its brutality. With the Utopians starting off as just 2 people mining copper, to now making some of the best weapons in this foul world. With food no longer being an issue, and everyone having a place to call home. Though they've reached a significant milestone, the horizon ahead holds new shadows and whispers of challenges that could eclipse all they've faced so far. But that's a tale for another time. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see what happens next, leave a like and subscribe. It really does help with the algorithm. And check out this hand-selected video. I think you will enjoy it. Bye!